Wanted to talk just briefly about United Way in general. United Way of Bristol has been in our community for many years, and currently we provide financial support and other resources to 27 local health and human service organizations in our community. And we primarily are able to do that because of the fall fundraising campaign that we do. We just finished that up and we exceeded our goal. So as always, we have a very generous and giving community, and people that really know that we have issues that families have to contend with on a daily basis. We have a lot of homeless families with children that live in our community, and a lot of other families that are working really hard but that are really struggling to put food on the table and provide those basic necessities for their families and children. So that's one of the main reasons that so many people do support United Way. And all the monies that we raise, unless someone designates it to go outside of the community, it stays right here to help our friends and neighbors in need. And I've been with United Way for 18 years, and the needs are greater than ever before, and so we have an obligation as the main fundraising organization in our community for the number of agencies and programs that we support to try to constantly stay up on what the greatest needs are and how we can meet those needs in our community. In fact, we're doing strategic planning right now, which has been very exciting for our organization. To be able to vision for the future, look at where we are now, and to determine, what those greatest needs are, and are we doing everything we can to meet those needs? Are there other things that we can do as a United Way in our community to be able to help our families and others? And so hopefully in the next few months, as we complete that process, there'll be more information out there and focus groups and ways for people in the community to really get involved. One of the most exciting things that we've done recently is become a partner with the Reading Buddies program in our community. And this is a program that started out in the city of Bristol, Tennessee at Anderson Elementary, and now it has expanded into the Bristol, Virginia public schools at Highland View. And what this does is we work with local volunteers to train them to become reading buddies. And what they do is these volunteers then go out into Anderson Elementary, Highland View Elementary, and they are assigned one child or two sometimes, depending on how much time they can give. And they spend about 30 minutes once a week reading with that child. Now, they're not expected to teach that child to read because both of our school systems certainly have more than qualified individuals and teachers and educators to do that. But what they do is spend quality time as a mentor to that child. And sometimes it's actually reading a book, or sometimes it's the part of the time spent reading a book and part of it's just spent talking to the child and seeing what's going on in their life and just talking about different things. And it's such a rewarding experience. So, if anyone in the community is interested in becoming a reading buddy, they can contact the United Way here in Bristol, and we can provide them with a contact person in either school system and information on how they can get involved. And the purpose of the program is, focusing on these children that are at risk and need just a little bit more help to make sure that they are reading proficiently by the time they go into third grade. And the statistics are just astronomical on what that means if a child goes into third grade and they aren't reading proficiently and they aren't prepared, how that impacts their education and their life in general down the road. And when I first started getting involved with Reading Buddies, I could make that direct correlation easily as a non-educator on how someone can not be reading proficiently in third grade and possibly not graduate. But the impact on that child's life in so many other areas is huge. And there are actually states like Florida, for instance, and California, that when they are forecasting the number of jail cells that they will need in the future, they actually look at their current proficiency rates for kids going into third grade and how that directly corresponds to that. So that's just one of the areas that it truly impacts. And so we're excited to be a partner, and this is one of the initiatives that we have at United Way of Bristol. We focus on health, education, income, and then our basic necessities for folks. And this falls right in line with our education focus area. So we're just excited to be a part of it, excited to promote it, and are always looking for people to be volunteers and to give back financially and in other ways as well. So it's an exciting time in Bristol for our kiddos. We just could not do our work in the community without our volunteers, and our 27 agencies and all of the other health and human service and nonprofit organizations in our community, really depend and rely on people in the community to volunteer and to give back their time. And everyone is so busy, but for example, here at United Way of Bristol, we have a staff of 3, and there's no way that we could operate and do the work that we do and work with our agencies without our volunteers. A lot of times we get folks that need to do community service for whatever reason, or students that are working on their resume for graduation and going into college that need to work. And we have a young man here today actually who's just here out of the goodness of his heart, giving back us several hours of his time, because he just really wants to do that. And there's always a wish list of projects and things that have to be done, and if we don't have volunteers to help us with that, more than likely they don't get accomplished, or they get accomplished way after the time that we need it done. And so I would just highly encourage everyone in our community, if you have an hour, if you have several hours every week or a month, or every 6 months, to reach out to us here at United Way. They can give us a call at 423-968-4912 and talk to any of us, or they can email us, or go to our website, unitedwaybristol.org. So and if they don't want to volunteer with us, if they want to work with kids, if they want to do things like the Reading Buddies program, whatever, we can provide direction as to who to contact, and maybe even just some preliminary information on who to contact and to get involved. There's if somebody has 30 minutes a week to several hours a week, we can find something for them to do. And I promise, because I'm a volunteer in a lot of other areas as well and have been for years, that you go in thinking you want to give back, and you do, but you get so much more in return from that organization and from the clients that are served there. So it's a very rewarding opportunity, but it's also very needed in our community.